Hello, and welcome to the Michigan Small Business Development Center's webcast, Small Business Big Threat, COVID-19 Working Remotely. Before I dive in, my name is Scott Tabor. I am the Cybersecurity Awareness Specialist with the lead center of the Michigan Small Business Development Center. This office is hosted by Grand Valley State University's Seidman College of Business, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Michigan Small Business Development Center is often referred to simply as the Michigan SBDC. We are a Michigan network of SBDC offices funded primarily by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, with additional support from network partners in each of our regions. We cover every county in the state of Michigan. The Michigan SBDC offers a wide variety of business education programming at no cost or very low cost, both available online and in person, hosted by our local regional offices throughout the state. You can learn more about these offerings at sbdcmichigan.org/training or by contacting your local regional office. Again, you can learn more about our business education workshops and other services at sbdcmichigan.org. All right. So what are we talking about today? Well, I think as a lot of people are probably doing right now, we're working from home. We're working remotely from a secondary office location. So there's some things that we want to definitely talk about and emphasize and consider when we are working from home or working remotely. And how we can really minimize our cybersecurity risk by doing some of these steps that I'm going to talk about. I want to first start off with talking about urging your employees or yourself to use private Wi-Fi. If you can, avoid using public Wi-Fi. So if your apartment complex offers public Wi-Fi, try to use your private Wi-Fi that you have instead. Or if you're staying at a hotel or at the hospital or wherever your location is where you're trying to get some work done, avoid using public Wi-Fi whenever you can. If you aren't able to avoid using public Wi-Fi, use a virtual private network. If you don't have one, it's definitely time to start looking at them and decide which option is best for you. When we start talking about virtual private networks or VPNs, one of the biggest things you want to look for when looking to purchase one to use is obviously not only cost factor, but we want to look at what do they do? What do they log of the data that you're communicating over the internet? Are they logging all the data and storing it? Or are they simply just passing that data through and not keeping records of it? You really want to look for ones that don't keep records of that data, ones who don't log that business data. If they're logging it, that means that someone can access it down the road. So if they aren't logging it and they're not keeping it, they're just simply passing it through, that's a much better route to go because whatever data that you're passing through is not capped. So someone can't then take that data off their servers. Next, I want to briefly talk about verifying that your data is still being backed up correctly and safely. It's really important to ensure that just because you're working from home or working from a different location, that the data is still being backed up properly. It's not having your physical servers maybe to go to if you have an emergency or having access to your same tech support that you would at the office. You want to make sure that your backups are still happening. So in case you do suffer from, say, a ransomware attack or another malware attack, you can get up and running again quickly. It also brings to mind not just verifying that your data is backed up, but also making sure you have an antivirus program on your computer. A lot of us will be using our same laptops that we use at the office. So that typically already has antivirus on it, but just verify that it does and update the software if it needs it. Update the definitions for your antivirus. Next step that I want to talk about is if you already haven't changed the default password to your private home Wi-Fi router, do so now. You can do a quick Google search and find all the default passwords for all the leading manufacturers and all the different model numbers they have for their Wi-Fi routers. So if you haven't done that already, definitely change that default password so that way no one else can jump onto your internet, especially while you're doing business from home. You want to make sure you're updating your software. Especially the operating system to your computers. If you're using a home device, make sure it's up to date, has all the latest software up to date as well, including your antivirus, including your Microsoft programs or your other Office programs that you may be using. Verify that the operating system is up to date as well. I really emphasize this because our updating software is one of the best ways to protect yourself against most malware threats and most cyber attacks. It's one of the best ways that you can do that. And typically all these updates, they're free, so it's also inexpensive, obviously, since it's free to update your operating system to the latest version of it, along with the other software. So always keep that in mind. Lastly, I want to mention, always stay diligent with phishing emails. I have another video that should be posted or will be posted real soon that we talk about the different scams going on. And phishing emails is one of the biggest threats going on right now in relation to COVID-19 when it comes to our technology and protecting our data. So that's something to keep in mind. We're going to see a large uptick of different phishing emails coming to our inboxes, flooding our inboxes, typically with subject lines saying coronavirus or COVID-19, or we have a vaccine, or your test results are in, or whatever the case is. They're trying to get your attention and hoping that you're going to reply or interact with that email. If you weren't expecting the email, just like with any phishing email, you can delete it if you're not expecting it. If it's unsolicited, be cautious of emails that containing those types of subject lines. Really, or any email that you're not expecting. It's always good practice to practice safe email procedures. And phishing emails are always prevalent, but whenever there's a world or a national disaster or catastrophe or pandemic in this case, we always see a large uptick of cyber attackers really trying to take advantage of this unfortunate situation. Thanks for watching this video on COVID-19 cyber scams. Here are some great resources you can go to for more information on COVID-19 and small business, along with some great resources for different cybersecurity related information, especially for working remotely. Please also check out our website for any additional updates and sign up for more of our webinars and webcasts.